Since 2011, the waves have been washing in a new game for us to play. The tide rolls in with a choice to make, riding on its coattails. The details are simple. 2 options for perception, 2 sides of the same single coin to choose from, and the familiar question, heads or tails? On one side, let's call this side tails. The sea sends in Sargassum as the brown tide. This maritime menace migrates across the Atlantic, a pelagic passenger riding waves to make its way to our shores with whatever trouble it has in store, forged by climate change and fertilized by nutrients into rich growth. And its mischief won't just stop at the coast. Although golden sanded beaches are much easier to market than the stench of souring seaweed. But you see, Sargassum doesn't just create a cosmetic problem. In fact, following our current trend, it is a triple threat to a fragile ecosystem. How the fishermen see less and less of the fish species their local markets like the best, and the dayboat captains, whose vessels will have to circumvent the seaweed maze lest their craft fall prey to a damaged propeller or a rudder's inner workings ripped asunder. Consider those living close to the coastline, when the air around them is infused not only with brine but also with ammonia and hydrogen sulfide, whose health will suffer over time from prolonged exposure. And the inland population might not escape either. If the sweat of Sargassum seeps into the groundwater, how it can become a showstopper, destabilizing a desalination plant in St. Croix to halt the production of water, or creeping into a Puerto Rican plant to cut off the power. And if we want to talk cents and dollars, instead of thinking about foreign exchange from overseas adventurers, perhaps cleanup costs are the big line items we should have more care for. The coin is up in the air. And if tails isn't sounding so good, then have no fear, because there's another side for you to mull over. One where trash could turn itself into treasure, where filth can be made into fuel or fertilizer, where masses of sargassum can be made into medicines. Let's call this side heads, where a menace can be made a muse instead, used to inspire innovation and industry. And if you don't believe me, then I'd show you the people taking advantage of the nascent possibilities, the ingenious making sargassum supplements to feed their livestock, or turning the tons coming piled high into building blocks. The ones trying to add their seaweed stock to sustainable markets already on the rise, like bioenergy, like biodegradables, like the types of enterprise that could take a scourge and realize that they have the power to turn the brown tide into a golden jewel. This side is daring you to overcome the difficulties, to look at the challenges and decide to wade through uncertain seas, because although it may sound better, that doesn't mean it's easy. Supply may vastly vary from one year to the next. There will be challenges to overcome, to harvest and process. Progress will require deep research and all hands on deck, because for all we know, sargassum could be Pandora's box dressed like a treasure chest. But even when constraints test your patience, the important thing will be the strength of your will to make a difference. This is a trial of ingenuity and resilience. So what is your preference? Heads or tails?